Is Mike Trout returning to being Trout standing? And the Brewers keep on rolling. Kerry Carpenter has a huge day, and two Titanic teams meet in Los Angeles. This is MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
That's right. This is Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night. Thank you for being here with us. I'm John Frisch. I'm one half of Locked On Angels. With me is JD Hafron from Locked On Cardinals. On today's show, Kerry Carpenter pulls a hat trick. The Milwaukee Brewers go for their 8th straight win, and the Colorado Rockies did what now? But before we get to all that, we want to say thank you to this show's sponsor Monarch Money. They want you to take control of your finances. Don't be in the dark about your money. Take control with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. JD, I'm going to pull rank a little bit here because, you know, I get to be one of the co-hosts with you here on MLB Game Night, and I got to talk about Mike Trout.
I'm more than happy to talk about Trout. Go for it.
Let's talk about Trout, baby. Mike Trout returns to Fenway Park to face the Boston Red Sox, starts this 3-game set. He missed a month due to a knee injury, but he returned over the weekend in the series against the Guardians in Cleveland. And maybe that time off was what he needed. He's got back-to-back 3-hit games for Mike Trout, Sunday and today. Listen to this. When he came off the IL, he was hitting 179 with a 726 OPS. And in 13 plate appearances since then, he's hitting 227 with an 812 OPS. So nearly 30 points of batting average added for Mike Trout. And his third hit of the day in Fenway was a 110 rocket off the Green Monster. And with that third hit, Mike Trout now has 1,675 career hits. He passes Tim Salmon for second most in Angels history, only behind Garrett Anderson, who's got 2,368 hits. So Trout's got a little ways to go if he wants to catch up with Garrett Anderson.
What are the odds that two dudes with fish names would be leading off our show here today? Trout and Salmon. What are the odds of that, John?
Pretty good if I'm running the show here, man, with being a Halos fan. But look, he wasn't the only one getting it done today. The Angels actually made history at Fenway Park. Mind you, this park opened in 1912, April 20th, 1912. They're the first visiting team to hit 3 home runs in the top of the first. Zach Neto led off the game with a solo home run, his 5th leadoff home run of the season. Mike Trout has a 3-run home run. And then Joe Adell hit a solo home run. It was his first of 2 in this game. He ended up having the winning run with a solo home run in the 6th inning. So the Angels take this one 7-6, but we got to give it up for some of the performances over on the Red Sox side. So we're going to go to Gabby of Locked On Red Sox. She's going to talk about who led to charge because, yeah, they got off to a 6-0 start, but the Red Sox came back and made it interesting. And there was one guy who has a lot of interest around him right now in terms of trade value. Let's hear from Gabby of Locked On Red Sox.
Durant once again proved tonight why he should not be traded by the Boston Red Sox. I'm Gabby Maljanian from Locked On Red Sox, where we just watched the Red Sox take a tough 7-6 loss against the Angels for their 16th one-run loss of the season. They have no idea how to win close games, but Jiren Durant was part of a really big comeback effort by the Red Sox, who were down 6-0 and were able to storm all the way back and go down 6-5 and then gave up a home run, and the comeback just fell short ultimately. But Durant had 3 hits, went 3 for 5 with 2 runs scored, continues to showcase his speed and his versatility, both offensively and defensively. And this is a player that you want to have as your leadoff hitter for years to come. I know there's been lots of rumors about potentially the Red Sox moving him, but keep him around. He's a special player. He does too much to let him go. Tune into Locked On Red Sox on any podcast platform for more on that.
JD, too early to hit the eject button and sell on Jiren Durant if you're a Red Sox fan? What do you say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we're just in the beginning of June, okay? This is not a team that is in a spot like the White Sox or the Rockies where it's like, yeah, we're toast. It's done. But this is a Boston team that is built to win now. And they went out and added some pieces this year. So, no, you're not. If you're moving Durant, you're giving up on the season, and you better get a truckload of prospects because I don't think he's, 2029, I think is when his contract's up where he becomes an unrestricted free agent. I mean, you got this guy under control for quite some time. It would really make no sense whatsoever unless, somebody came along with a package that's going to just blow your mind, which, it would take something serious for them. It doesn't make a lot of sense for Boston at this point.
No, not right now. Especially, I know he's on the IL, but you got Alex Bregman. You brought him in. You traded for Garrett Crochet. They'll be fine. I think Red Sox fans had high expectations. I think we all did because they did a lot over the offseason, and they're just falling short of those right now. Speaking of not falling short, I guess you could say, the new power rankings came out. The Detroit Tigers are the new number 1 ranked team, passing up the Phillies and the Dodgers. They're looking to become the first team to 40 wins on the season, while the White Sox are trying to snap their 3-game losing streak. Let's take it over to Scott of Locked On Tigers, who most certainly enjoyed the way this one went down.
Well, the Detroit Tigers are officially the first team to hit 40 wins on the season. I am Scott Bentley, host of Locked On Tigers, and they do it in an emphatic way. 13-1 victory over the White Sox in the South Side. Obviously not a very great opponent over there, but this was just every single facet of the game was pure and utter domination. They were great defensively. A lot of fantastic and wild plays on the defensive side of the ball. They were great on the mound. Dylan Smith, major league debut, looked sharp once he settled down a little bit. Jack Flaherty, 6 shutout innings of ball, and then obviously 13 runs, highlighted by a 3 home run performance from Kerry Carpenter, who continues to be one of the more underrated hitters in all of baseball. Everything is rolling. This team is number 1 in a lot of power rankings. They have the most wins in baseball. They have the best record in baseball. They won the race to 30. They now win the race to 40. Hopefully, they win the race to 50. We'll talk about that and more tomorrow on Locked On Tigers.
I have a question, JD. They weren't at the top of the power rankings before this week. What are we doing here, power rankings?
They had, honestly, the Phillies they had until their recent slide over last week. It was the Phillies in the top spot, Dodgers, and the Tigers were at number 3, but they leapfrog. It's just because you look at the roster, it doesn't have sexy names,
right?
And it doesn't have these superstars that stand out. A lot of really good players. Obviously, Scooble's a star, but everybody else, you're just kind of like, are they really that good? But as a unit, they're amazing. They've just taken the league by storm and have been impressive in every way.
Yeah, and then getting a name like Kerry Carpenter to have the hat trick tonight, 3-homer night, just huge for the Tigers. First Tiger to go deep three times in a game since Victor Martinez. There's a name for you. June 16th, 2016. So lots of great stuff happening for Detroit right now. And yeah, the race to 40 wins, probably wouldn't have seen that coming at the beginning of the season or the off season, but the fact is they're here for it, man. And I believe they're here to stick around. Do you agree?
Yeah, things are working. If you keep Scooble healthy, you've got Job coming, you've got, Flaherty, as he mentioned, strong rotation there, and they can go add pieces if they want to. It's not like they've got a whole lot of just crazy amount of money tied up. If they want to go add some pieces, they can. So that's certainly a team to be watching as we get closer to the deadline at the end of July.
We're going to hop from the AL Central to the NL Central, where the Brewers look to stay hot. We'll get into that coming right up.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product information to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you're going to find exactly what you need. It's going to get delivered to you. It's going to be delivered fast from coast to coast. So wherever you are in the United States, it's going to get to you. Need help with an order? Things happen. Sometimes you need help. Supply House offers you expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always be able to talk to a real person. And for the trade pros out there looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line. You're going to get free shipping plus discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals, they're already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Use the promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. Once again, promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order at supplyhouse.com.
Back here on a Locked On MLB Game Night, every game, every night, we're taking you to the NL Central where Milwaukee, what in the world is going on with the Brewers? Winners of 7 in a row coming into Monday. They swept the Red Sox. They swept the Phillies. Now they go to Cincinnati to face the Reds, a team that's been consistently inconsistent. We got Aaron Savali on the bump for the Brewers against Brady Singer of the Reds. Chuck from Locked On Brewers tells us what went down in the Queen City. Let's find out from Chuck.
The Brewers continue their dominance over the Cincinnati Reds, and they continue their dominance over Major League Baseball. Let's face it, they've won 8 in a row. Hey, everybody, Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. Who would have guessed, well, I guess it's the Milwaukee Brewers, so we shouldn't be surprised, that a third-inning home run by Christian Yelich would hold up for the game winner, snap the 2-2 tie, and the Brewers go on to the 3-2 win. Savali pitches into the 6th. Man, he ran into that trouble in the first inning, gave it the 2 runs. It could have been a lot worse. He hung in there, pitched into the 6th in the bullpen with McGill getting the 1-2-3 ninth and locking things down. Man, I feel like with all this winning, the Brewers are like in quicksand because they're not barely gaining any ground here. They gained a half a game on the Cubs. They're now within 5 of the Cubs in the NL Central. Got a lot to talk about a little bit later on tonight on the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
It looks like did Chuck do a little celebration on the golf course there, JD? He looked tan. He had the polo shirt on. He's celebrating.
I was about to say, remember when he ditched and was on the golf course? He was like, I couldn't watch anymore. This Brewers team is driving me nuts. I feel like since that time, they've just took off. Like they're like, dude, we got the message, Chuck.
That was the turning point.
Don't tune us out anymore, brother. Stay with us. And things have gone quite well for the Brewers ever since. Specifically for Christian Yelich. He's been insane, hasn't he?
Yeah. Just recently won his first National League Player of the Week award. It's been more than 6 years, JD. He won that on Monday, hits the game-winning home run. And this is after he got hit on the hand on Sunday, and there was some speculation whether he was even going to play in this game. So he turned out to hit the game-winning home run, extends his hit streak to 9. The Brewers have won 8 in a row. I got bad news, Brewers fans. Unfortunately, you've been Bob Nightingale. He tweeted about the win streak, and so I hope you enjoyed the 8-game win streak. But now that he tweeted about it, I'm afraid it's going away. JD, tell us about what's going on with this Reds team right now.
Well, as you mentioned in the intro there, the Reds have been consistently inconsistent so far this year. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. The offense for this team, like you just don't know which one is going to show up. It's a very Jekyll and Hyde situation with the Reds right now. They put 2 on the board in the first, and then they just vanish for the rest of the night. Of course, you want to give credit to the Brewers, pitching staff for doing their job. But at the same time, you look at some of the names on this roster, and you think the Reds offense should be much better. Ellie De La Cruz cannot do it all by himself. I'm sure most people have heard the story that he's kind of playing with a heavy heart right now after the passing of his older sister. He's going to be going on the bereavement list, I believe, after the game on Wednesday was what I heard. But they just can't seem to find anybody to step up and help him out as far as driving runs in. They had 8 hits tonight. They're 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They left 7 guys on base. When you hold your opponent to 3 runs at Great American Ballpark, which is nicknamed Great American Small Park for a reason, normally you would expect to win the game. But The Reds fall to the Brewers again. They're now winless this season when trailing after the 6th, 7th, or 8th innings and don't have a win in extra innings. So if you're ahead of them late, the odds are they're not coming back. And a crazy stat about this one and the dominance the Brewers have had. The Reds have now lost 19 of their last 24 games at home against the Brewers, where the Brewers are going to Cincinnati and just dominating the Reds. And they'll have to take the next 2 games over Milwaukee, or they'll suffer a 12th consecutive series loss to the Brewers. Talk about owning another team. The Brewers certainly own the Reds right now.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the definition of having another team's number, when you're able to roll into their stadium and do damage like that. So we'll see how the rest of this one shakes out. But props to the Brew Crew and their fans for enjoying this 8-game win streak. We had a couple titans of the industry meet in Los Angeles. The Dodgers go from hosting one New York team to the other New York team. The Mets roll into town. They took all 3 against the Colorado Rockies in Queens this past weekend. Meanwhile, the Dodgers took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. Paul Blackburn actually returned to the mound for the Mets. It's his first start in more than 9 months. He was matched by Dustin May going for the Dodgers. Let's hear from Ryan of Locked On Mets how this one went down. And it took a little bit of extra time, but we eventually got ourselves a winner. Let's hear from Ryan right now.
Late night thriller in Los Angeles as the New York Mets were able to hold on to beat the Dodgers in extra innings. This is Ryan Finkelstein, the host of Locked On Mets, and what a wild game it was out on the West Coast. You had Francisco Lindor lead things off with a solo homer. The Mets have now won 27 consecutive games when Lindor homers in the regular season, which is ridiculously impressive. You saw Brandon Nimmo with a big RBI double in the 5th inning, and Paul Blackburn looked great on his return after not having made a start in nearly 10 months. The Mets bullpen largely good. You had Huascar Brazoban, Max Kranick, and Ryan Stanek all hold on through tough innings to put zeros up on the board. That led to Edwin Diaz getting a save opportunity with a 2-1 score in the 9th inning. Diaz unfortunately faltered, gave up a run, blew his first save of the season, but still was able to keep that game tied and push it to extras. Francisco Alvarez and Francisco Lindor both got big hits to give the Mets a couple of runs in the 10th inning, and they needed both of them as it was a little bit of an adventure to get the final 3 outs. But Jose Budo, relieving Jose Castillo in that 10th inning, was able to get the job done, gets a fly ball, and then makes a great play on a comebacker as the Mets are able to hang on, and they get their series off on a great note in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I don't want to gloss over the fact that, yeah, sure, Edwin Diaz didn't get the save, but it was a sac fly from Shohei Ohtani, who had homered in this one and really was the only Dodgers offense up until that point. Yeah, he's got his 23rd home run, which ties him with Cal Raleigh for the MLB lead, but Cal didn't have a game today. So, he's had the benefit of the day off. Shohei Ohtani did the benefit of Cal Raleigh's day off. Let's take it over to
that fly too, John, by the way, was like a couple of feet from being a home run. Like he just missed it down the line in left field. Off the bat, I was like, dude, this is going to happen, isn't it? Shohei's going to do it, and just fell short. So got a little lucky on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take it over to Vince of Locked On Dodgers. He's going to tell us where this one went wrong for his World Series team. Here we go.
It's hard to win baseball games when you don't score a lot of runs. The Dodgers learned that the hard way on Monday night at Dodger Stadium. This is Vince from Locked On Dodgers. And while Dustin May gave the Dodgers 6 innings, a 2-run ball, continuing his strong performances over his last few starts, the Dodgers didn't get their first run on the board till the 6th inning. They only scored 2 runs in the first 9 innings, 3 runs total, and they lost in extra innings. It was frustrating to see Paul Blackburn dominate the Dodgers coming off the injured list. A day after they got shut down by Ryan Yarbrough, throwing 89 miles an hour. They got shut down by Paul Blackburn, throwing 93 miles an hour. And it's a annoying loss at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers did end up putting up a run. Shohei Ohtani hit one very far. Shohei Ohtani hit a sac fly in the 9th. The Dodgers were able to force extra innings. But Tanner Scott's struggles continue. He gives up 2 doubles on the first 2 batters he faces in extra innings. The Dodgers did pick up a run in the 10th, but ultimately not enough. We're going to talk about it on Locked On Dodgers, where we get podcasts, and on YouTube.
It seems to be a theme with the Dodgers is just the struggles from Tanner Scott, but he was supposed to be one piece of this massive dominant bullpen, and they're all injured right now, right?
Yeah, they've got a lot of dudes on the IL. Like the amount of people on the IL from just their pitching staff alone would be like the best pitching staff in baseball.
It would fund another team. Like the payroll on the IL would be higher.
So good, dude.
Yeah.
Like Blake Snell and Sasaki. You've also got Glass now, who had a setback. Apparently, he's going to be out much longer. He's not responding well, but like I think Blake Trinan's on the IL as well. Kopech's on the IL. Like all these dudes that are like studs, and the one guy that they signed that they thought was going to be an amazing guy this year was Tanner Scott, and they got a Tanner Scott problem, dude. He's been getting worked. Almost every time I turn it on, he's giving up runs. So that's been an issue for them. But again, if you don't score more than a couple of runs, that's this Dodgers offense missing Mookie Betts, and they didn't have Will Smith in the lineup tonight. So there's some excuses for it, but whatever. I don't feel bad for the Dodgers.
On the other side of things, I don't think a lot of people are feeling too bad for him. Hey, when we come back, it was a pitcher's duel in the Bay Area, and also the Rockies did what? We'll tell you all about it coming right up.
Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? It happens because between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it's really easy to lose track, and that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's going to be your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. And Monarch Money, it's not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. It's going to track all your accounts, your investments, and your spending, and it's going to do it all in one place, which is what you want, so you can stop managing money and start building wealth for the future. And as convenient as it is to get things delivered to the house or to go out and grab some fast food, you may not realize how expensive some of this stuff is. And now you can budget smarter for situations like that and save more. And instead of juggling the multiple apps, which most people do, you just use Monarch Money to check your finances, track your spending, and even plan long-term goals. And if you're married or you have a partner, it makes managing money with them so much smoother. It is so simple. You can track shared and personal accounts. You can set goals together, stay on the same page, and do it without all the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year.
All right, we're rolling right along. Not a large slate of games tonight, but some interesting ones, including the matchup we've all been waiting for, JD. It was the Colorado Rockies meeting the Marlins in Miami. And the Marlins 23-34 coming into this one. The Rockies 9-50 coming into the game on Monday. When you say it out loud, it doesn't even sound real, does it? 9-50.
No, it's absurd. That's crazy that a team is that bad in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it is a crazy game of baseball. You never know what's going to happen, including in tonight's game. Here's Paul from Locked On Rockies to tell us all about this one.
Beats the Colorado Rockies 9 times in a row. At least that's what we're saying in Rockies Kingdom today, as the Colorado Rockies have finally hit 10 wins on the season. A comeback victory for the Rockies after they take down the Miami Marlins, a place that's historically tough for them to play. And the Rockies facing an early deficit, down multiple runs on the road. That's usually a death sentence, especially for this 2025 team. Instead, they bounce back. They back up their pitcher, German Marquez, and they have a huge day from Hunter Goodman, including a multi-home run day from him, and a play that looked like it was a classic doom of the Rockies there, throwing the ball away early, 2 errors for the Rockies. But they do get some timely defense and a great appearance from the bullpen as they get win number 10. Yes, it's June 2nd and win number 10 for the Rockies, but double digits finally, and the Rockies in a position to win their first series of the season. We'll be breaking it all down on Locked On Rockies.
First series of the season. That's just, oof. Saying it out loud, like that sounds worse than 9-50. So they're 10-50 on the season. And let me just take you through the NL West really fast. And here's the date of the 10th win for each team in the NL West. April 9th, the Dodgers and the Padres got their 10th win. April 11th, the Giants got their 10th win. April 15th, the Diamondbacks get their 10th win. June 2nd, the Rockies got their 10th win of the season. So just a brutal season for those guys. Let's take it over to Jeremiah, who's got to pick himself up off the floor as a Marlins fan. He's our local expert from Locked On Marlins. He's going to tell us where his fish went wrong.
That was one of the ugliest performances and one of the ugliest losses ever in the history of baseball. It's Jeremiah Geiger from the Locked On Marlins podcast. The Rockies were 9-50, and they go to Miami, and Max Meyer for the Marlins gives up 10 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, and the Rockies win the game 6-4. The Marlins bats, they scored 4 runs, but guess what? 3 for 16 with runners in scoring position. They were the opposite of clutch. Left 9 runners on base. They have their opportunities, but they don't capitalize. Max Meyer, the agenda might be cooked on him. You can't give up 10 hits to the Colorado Rockies. In fact, since his last start, or his best start against the Reds, the 7 starts since then, an ERA over 7 and 47 hits in 34 2/3. Sandy Alcantara takes the mound tomorrow. He better do well. You can't lose this series.
Man, you can't even trust Alcantara to go out there right now, JD. It's just brutal.
Alcantara's been terrible this year, so good luck with that.
Just awful. Now, you've got some interesting numbers here about the Rockies and the terrible season they've had related to last year's Chicago White Sox. Hit us with those.
Yeah, so on June 2nd, which is, when the Rockies just won their 10th game, the White Sox, we remember, ended the season 41-121, which is a modern-day record for futility in Major League Baseball. On this date last year in 2024, they lost to the Brewers and fell to 15-45 on the season, which means that the Rockies are 5 games behind the pace of 41-121 of that awful White Sox team. So it's not looking good. And people are starting to, whisper about trade speculation. And the thing with the Rockies is, they would love to sell, I'm sure. Yeah. But who? What is there to sell when your team is this bad? I mean, I know the White Sox were able to get rid of a few people last year, but it doesn't seem like they've got even remotely the same amount of talent in their clubhouse as the White Sox did last year. And that is saying something for a squad that was as bad as the White Sox.
Yeah, and now we're going to have a new worst team in history. That's not looking good for the Rockies. They've got some interesting starting pitching that I think if you get them away from Coors, you could do something with. But yeah, as much as they would like to sell, probably not a lot there. Hey, the Padres met the Giants in the Bay Area. Both these teams are sitting behind the Dodgers in the NL West standings, hoping to pick up a few games on each other as they battle it out. It got a little testy, JD. There were 3 hit by pitches between the two teams there and some warnings that were issued. Here's Ben of Locked On Giants to tell us how this one turned out. Here we go.
I'm speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. The Giants offense is going through something that you just don't normally see, and it's historically bad right now for the Giants. This is Ben Kaspick with the Locked On Giants podcast. Oh my goodness, they cannot score a run. They cannot score a run. Logan Webb, Randy Rodriguez, Ryan Walker, they all did their jobs, but the offense, bases loaded, nobody out, got nothing. Runner on second, nobody out, got nothing. And then in the late innings, they hit the ball hard and got nothing. The last 2 hitters of the game, tying run on third, Matt Chapman hits a ball 110 miles an hour, and it's an out. Expected batting average of 590. Gerard Encarnacion hits a rocket to first. It's an out, right at Luis Ariz. Expected batting average 610. And in the previous inning, Elliot Ramos and Tyler Fitzgerald also smoked balls into outs. And so the frustration is just ridiculous. You look at the players' faces when the game ended. We will break this one down and talk about what do we need to do to fix this. Incense on the next Locked On Giants tomorrow, where it's your team every day.
Some incense. They got to have a, what do you call it? A ritual where you get the demon out of there.
An exorcism.
Exorcism. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word right now. But
the Cardinals did this a couple of years ago. Miles Michaelis burned some stuff on the field, and it worked for a little while. But you get to a point where you're like, we'll try anything, and maybe that's where the Giants are right now. Still having a good season. I wouldn't be freaking out, but sometimes the ball goes right at somebody. It's just part of the game.
It was a very unlucky way to end that game, and Ben was totally right. So Logan Webb, 8 shutty, 6 hits, 7 Ks, no walks on 102 pitches, lowers his ERA to 2.55 on the year. Stephen Kolek wasn't bad for the Padres either, and then the Padres bullpen kept it scoreless, but all it took was a San Diego sac bunt and a sac fly gets the run in. Robert Suarez went the last 2 innings to finish it, and that's all she wrote for the Giants. It was a 1-0 victory for San Diego. Finally, we'll take it to Sacramento as the Twins, who enter having lost their last 2 series against the Mariners and the Rays. They're looking to get right against the A's. The A's, here's their lore, their backstory, JD. They lost 11 in a row, got 1 win against the Phillies, then proceeded to lose 6 more entering on Monday. Each team sent their best starters to the mound. They had Joe Ryan for the Twins, Luis Severino for the A's, and not the sharpest outing from either one there, JD. Is that right?
Yeah, Severino, 5 2/3, 9 hits, 8 earned runs. He only had 1 walk, 1 K, 97 pitches. Then you got Joe Ryan, 5 innings, 6 hits. He gives up 4 earned runs, so that's better than Severino.
Yeah.
3 walks, 4 Ks, also 97 pitches. But the Twins got Joe Ryan a 6-run cushion to play with. The A's made it interesting, but the Twins ended up piling on with 3 more runs. Total of 14 hits on the night. Byron Buxton had a big night, and he's one of those guys that, like, when he's on, he's one of the better players in the league. The problem is that he gets hurt a lot. But
he's like Trout.
Yeah, very much like Mike Trout. I don't know if I'm putting Buxton and Mike Trout in the same conversation.
But like when they're healthy, they're on and they're good, and you want to see them play. And a night like this proves it for Buxton. He's been great this year.
Yeah, when he was on the field, Buxton is always somebody that is so intriguing. He's got so much talent, and it's been good to see him on the field. Obviously, when he's there, the Twins normally win, and the big night tonight ends up putting them over the top against the A's, who have just bottomed out. A month ago, we were talking about them competing in the AL West. They were sticking around, and then things have just come crumbling down for them.
Yeah, being in that stadium, I don't think is doing any favors for the A's, and they're so bad at home, and it's not their home. It just doesn't make any sense right now, and I'm afraid they're going to have to deal with it for a few more years. And it's not going to be fun.
This is going to be around like this for a while. This ain't going anywhere soon.
Yeah, I better get used to playing in that AAA ballpark. Well, we want to thank you for being here with us on this Lockdown MLB Game Night. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Of course, this will be in your audio podcast feed. JD and I will be back tomorrow night doing it again with a full slate of games. We look forward to seeing you because this is Lockdown MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.